This is a Honda Civic, but no ordinary Honda Civic. You see, all the other Honda Civics that are on sale at the moment, whether they're petrol, diesel, Type R or normal Civic, they're all Civic hatchbacks, whereas this is the new Honda Civic Saloon. Now make sure you subscribe, make sure you click the little bell icon to get notifications, make sure you comment, like, share, all the usual YouTube things, and make sure you visit newmotoring.com. Now over the last 2 years or so, I have spent quite a lot of time in Honda Civics. I went on the car's launch back in January 2017, and I've driven several in the UK since then. And I've also driven the Type R several times and had to pay quite good attention really, because it's so fast you can get into trouble very, very quickly. And one thing I've noticed through driving all of those different cars is that they've all had 4 doors. Obviously, the hatchback still does have 4 doors. The reason this car exists is purely to broaden the Civic's appeal even further. We haven't had a Civic Saloon or an Accord for several years. Looks-wise, from the front, it is still just a normal Honda Civic. It's only when you get to the side or you stand at the back, you notice it's a little bit different. It's 13 centimetres longer in total, a few millimetres taller, but the difference is so tiny. And it's a few kilos heavier as well. But again, the difference is very, very small. Inside, again, it's the same story. Jump from another Civic, a hatchback, into one of these, it's exactly the same. The driving position is good. You've got a nice amount of adjustability with the wheel. You can get yourself quite comfortable actually. The only thing that is slightly frustrating is the seat base is a little bit flat, but it's not the end of the world. The pedals as well, they're quite well placed. It's just a good place to sit. It's a good place to drive. And it's quiet, and visibility is good. The only thing that doesn't really work for me in the Civic interior is, well, the sat-nav, because it just feels old. There are just 2 engines to choose from in the Civic Saloon. You can get a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol, or you can get a 1.6 litre turbo diesel. The 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol that you can get in the Civic hatchback, you can't get in the Civic Saloon. It's just because of emissions, really. This car is a 1.6 litre diesel, so it's got 118 brake horsepower and 221 pounds-feet of torque. It'll manage about 80 miles to the gallon with the 6-speed manual gearbox, but if you go for the automatic, it'll get about 68 miles to the gallon. But I'll get onto the gearboxes a bit more in a minute. 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 9.9 seconds, and the top speed is 125 miles an hour. If you go for the auto, 0 to 62 miles an hour takes 10.7 seconds, and the top speed is 124. While the diesel isn't particularly fast, I'm curious to try the 1 litre. It is very quiet, and it is a very good diesel engine. What's interesting is the choice of gearboxes. If you want a manual in either a petrol or a diesel, you get a 6-speed. And it's a very good gearbox. Having driven lots of these Civics now, and also the fact I'm driving one right now, it's a good gearbox. If you want an automatic though, in the petrol, it's a CVT and it can simulate a 7-speed automatic. In the diesel, it's actually a proper automatic, and it's a 9-speed automatic. 9 speeds. Suspension, you've got McPherson struts up front and a multi-link setup at the back. But that is where the biggest mechanical changes are between this, the Saloon, and the Civic hatch. The spring rates, the dampers, and the anti-roll bars, they've all been tuned slightly differently. So this is actually softer than the hatch. And you notice it as soon as you get in the car. It's not like a standard Civic hatch is rock solid, it's not a Type R, but you can just feel this is a little bit more supple, but it's still very controlled. It doesn't wobble or fall to pieces the second you hit a bump. It's just that little bit more comfortable. The steering is exactly the same. It's a variable ratio, electromechanical power steering. And it's not the most feelsome, but it is very, very good. It's predictable, it's reliable, it's confidence inspiring. Again, you know, it's not a Type R, it is just very good. Prices start at £19,395 for the petrol and £20,745 for the diesel. The top spec automatic diesel is the most expensive Civic Saloon you can buy, and that will set you back £27,120. What do I think? Well, honestly, it's like a normal Civic, just a little bit longer. There is no real perceptible difference in the way it drives, other than the fact that it is slightly softer. But for the most part, it is still standard Civic, and it's still good to drive.